The world of AI. My gosh, there is seemingly something new every day.
AI.
Artificial intelligence.
And now AI is changing the way that we look for music. Because instead of looking for it, you're making it.
That's right. AI is now your own personal composer. So today we're gonna see how effective this tool really is, how does the music actually sound, as well as some tips and tricks on how to get the most out of this new tech. This is not like one of those Twitter feeds, but it is about AI. So, yeah, cool. So here's a sequence that I find quite nice, but without music, just clearly lacks something. So let's go ahead and make our own track with a little bit of help from our pal AI, our new confidant of 2023, and see what tools Soundraw offers. Okay, let's dive in. First, we have mood, genre, theme. We're gonna choose a vibe to start here. A lot of times, cinematic is one that I go for because it's in the name. Next, we have length, which this is actually super unique because rarely do you actually get this much control over the length of a track, of a song. Tempo, let's go normal to start, and then any specific instruments that we're interested in. I'm always a sucker for like minimal tones, minimal tracks that have nice builds in them, and I'll explain that more here in a second. But first, let's get rid of a few of these instruments that I think are just gonna be distracting for what we're going for. Oh look, a few are actually already not selected from what I've done in the past, which is hilarious. Okay, let's listen to the first track it gives us. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so those drums kind of threw me off, but I actually like this one, so let's go ahead and keep playing with it. You can change the energy down here, but let's go ahead and hit Pro mode and see what features that allows us to play with. It's gonna give us some more tools to kind of fine tune our song. Again, we're just hitting buttons and AI is doing the work. So here now we're actually fine tuning the intensity of each section that it's given us. So we have 0 to 9 seconds, 9 to 19, 19 to 29, and then that outro for 2 seconds. Now, what you can do here is kind of take stuff away and add it. If it's gray, it's not there. If it's light blue, it's a little intense. And if it's dark blue, it's very intense. So here, I'm just gonna kill the drums the whole time. I'm gonna have the bass in the backing one maybe come in a little stronger, and then have these kind of back off, and then it ends. And let's change the fills here a little bit too. And let's see what that sounds like. I like that little string. It's got a good little like sauntering feel to it. It's kind of like inquisitive. I like it. Let's see the next one. Ooh. So then there that backing too, you're hearing those strings more. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna keep playing with this one, but let's go on to our next song. Also, hot tip here, I keep finding myself cutting the drums, and I feel like because the drums are super drivey, and a lot of times I like a little more minor track. I don't want the track to actually be the focal point of my piece. I want it to be the visuals and the story and what have you. And in these, 15, 30-second clips, there's not really much of a story, but there is the suggestion of a story. So a lot of times I'm cutting drums because I actually like how that kind of more minor sound sounds. Ooh, it's kind of retro. Whoa. Then I brought it back down. Ooh. Okay, this might be super offensive to anyone who actually composes films, but that kind of had a Brian Eno feel to it. This is no knock against Brian Eno. He's an incredible, incredible musician and composer, but that had a little bit of a Brian Eno flair to it. So I'm going to play with this one as well and see what we can come up with. Okay, going back to genres, I would actually love to see the indie genre show up, which I know is just classic dude wearing a vintage tee liking indie music. But truly, I feel like indie cinematic is kind of what I'm going for, because you just kind of get more quirky sounds that aren't as traditional, aren't as corporate sounding. So I would love them to actually add that, as well as something a little more Americana. Now, you don't need those genres. Not everyone even likes those genres, but for me personally, I would love to see those added in the genres so that I could play with those types of sounds. Again, it's just the music that I personally gravitate toward. Lastly, in Pro mode here, you have a few other options to play with that are super interesting, like changing the key. Now, this is something that would traditionally get pretty technical, but because we're using AI, it's just one click and it goes from there. I actually don't even know what key is better because I know nothing about music, but I would see what each one sounds like and just pick the one that sounds best to my ear. Let's also look at this last feature in Pro mode, which is volume. If you click on it, you actually get the ability to turn down or up the different instruments within your track. So here you can turn the bass way up, turn it down. For drums, like I already killed all the drums, but I could add them back in and then just turn them way down so you just hear a hint of drum versus too much drum. Now, you can't change everything, but you can change a lot. Okay, so here are a couple tracks that I have made using Soundraw. You obviously just watched me kind of play with that tool. So here's what it actually looks like underneath footage. These are just some B-roll clips that I've collected over the years. I think these are all shot on the Fuji X-H2S. So let's see what it looks like, or what it sounds like. Alright everyone, so hopefully you enjoyed this little demo of Soundraw. Just like all other AI tools, it is constantly evolving and constantly getting better. If your expectation is that Soundraw, every track you're just gonna love, then I think you will be somewhat disappointed, because really no music online service really delivers on loving every song. But there is a lot you can do with this tool, and because the music is royalty free, that just gives creators and filmmakers a lot of flexibility with how they use this tool. A few things that I would love to see Soundraw implement, like I said in the video, I would love to see an indie genre show up. I would also like to choose what kind of drums, what kind of guitar, what kind of synth, what kind of pad that is included in each track. That kind of makes me feel like more like a composer or more like a sound engineer, because I want to go that deep, and this is a tool that kind of lets me fulfill that subtle dream of composing films and making music, something that I've never been able to do really until stuff like this has become available. So if you are interested in checking out Soundraw, the link is below. I cannot wait to see what future updates they have in store. And just like with other artificial intelligence tools out there, we are in wild times, and it's probably just gonna get crazier. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. All right, later.